Alexander. Shabbat for three. Bingo!
Carter will get it for the win. Got it! He is hard to believe.
Here's Jordan.
Yes! The Magic, a 360 turn with the dribble. Magic down the middle. Gives underneath the Worthy. Slam dunk.
Third in the corner. Double fake.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Time Dropper for the final 24-minute recap like it's 2021 for the final recap of the season, the regular season, because I am going out of town, but thankfully the Lakers did the job for me tonight and made sure that the LA teams that I talk about on a regular basis are the ones that are done with. We already know what's happening with them. The Clippers, the LA Clippers, who had Kawhi Leonard out the entire season. Norman Powell got injured within like 5 games of him getting traded. Paul George out the majority of the season, is in the 8th spot, secure, even if there was no play-in for Adam Cupcake Silver and his gimmick stuff. But the Lakers, the team with the highest odds out of Vegas to win the Western Conference, by adding Russell Westbrook and forming a new super team. And oh boy, before you subscribe on all platforms at YouTube and Apple at Time for Podcasts, just remember that these guys were a super team. We are not going to change the definition after they collapse and suck. That's not how it goes. Super teams are coined when the team gets formed, and usually through player collusion. And that leads us to the beginning of the train wreck that is and were the 2021-22 Los Angeles Lakers. And guess what? To all you Laker fans who clowned me after 2020 when the Clippers committed a basketball atrocity, you motherfuckers are quieter than mice right now. Where have you guys been at? My views have been down this year. I wonder why. Because maybe you guys know I'm not just going to shit on my team like a crazy person every week or every season or every game or every loss because they don't deserve it anymore. But guess who I am going to shit on? Because I keep it 100. Clippers embarrassed themselves. I grilled them here. And now the Lakers have embarrassed themselves. And I'm going to grill them here. Oh, baby. The Lakers have been in Los Angeles for 62 years, 62 glorious years for the majority of them. The greatest franchise in NBA history in my mind. More than the Celtics. Sorry, Celtics fans, I'd still take the Lakers. But that's what makes it that much sweeter, because everyone wants the Lakers to lose. It's like the Cowboys. It's like Manchester United. It's like the Yankees. They are the evil empire, and eventually you get tired of seeing them always win. But now you add in LeBron James, who is the most polarizing athlete maybe in the history of America. And he brings in his legion of delusional, cock-sucking fanboys. Jesus Christ. I'm going rated X tonight. We bringing it out tonight, ladies and gents. We going full-on X-rated. Fanboys who prop this guy up like he's the second coming of Christ. And guess what? I was guilty of this too. I had his fat head in my room. You know, I got that alternate jersey and that red Cleveland jersey still in my closet. I wanted nothing more than this guy to be the GOAT. And now that so many people call him the GOAT, I am sick to my stomach because I've woken up and started studying the history of the game. And I've grown up. I got a full-on beard now. Little Dick D thinks LeBron is the second coming of Christ. Dime Dropper sees the game with a different lens. And that lens is that we are going to start off with everything that went wrong this season. And here's the thing about me. It's not just one person's fault. That's the thing. Everyone's going to try to put it on one person. It's all LeBron's fault. It's all Westbrook sucks. It's all Vogel's fault. It's all about the front office. This is the thing about team fans different than people with agendas. A collapse of a team this severe is never because of one entity. So let's begin from the top. And I want to just say to all my good Laker fans out there to support my content and support my channel, I am not grilling you guys. I just hope you feel a little bit of pain just by being Laker fans the way I felt when we lost, just by being associated with the logo. because it's not your fault. You sit there and support your damn team because you have pride in that uniform. But guess who didn't have pride in that uniform? We're not even going to give them the luxury of being called the purple and gold because they're the purple and piss. And by the way, time to change those banana yellow jerseys. Let's start it out. Let's start out with the front office. Now, if you're watching this show Winning Time, you see the greatest owner to ever probably own an NBA franchise, the great Dr. Jerry Buss, or as my friend used to call him, Dr. Jerry Bust-a-Nut. And he was just and the Lakers, it's a fitting name because he was running train on the entire league like a bus or a train, whatever you want to call it. For years, the Lakers were making everybody their bitches for decades. And now everybody else gets to have their fun. And I'll tell you why. And I'm not going to grill Jeannie Buss and go too hard on her because, you know, she is a fellow Lades alumni. But Jeannie Buss has lost the fucking plot. Magic came out a couple of years ago, and I'm not saying that Magic was in the right for doing what he did. He totally went and did something that was not something that the greatest Laker of all time, which he definitely has the highest claim to be along with Kobe, does. Go on, kind of air out all the dirty laundry like that on First Take. But Jeannie, he said something about he didn't know who was in charge. And Jeannie Buss, since she's taken over the team, she got this ship back on the right track with the 2020 title. But ever since then, she's lost the plot. We don't know who's in charge. There seems like there's way too many cooks in the kitchen here. You've got Rob Pelinka, who everybody was praising after 2020. Now everybody's like, he's given LeBron too much power, and then there's all the articles about the Rambises being involved behind the scenes. Kurt and Linda Rambis. So who's in charge here? Who's in charge? Are all these people in charge? Does Rob Pelinka have full autonomy of the basketball decisions here? Or is he getting a little birdie in his ear? A birdie by the name of your boy Hustle Hard like Rambis. Shout out to Rambis. He's a champion, but he's not supposed to be making decisions here. So that's the first step, right? Now, I think this Laker problem actually started after they won the 2020 title. I think that's when it went to shit because I'm a big proponent. If you guys have been following now, this is my second full season doing this. You guys know I'm a big proponent of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And shout out to my boy June 28th, July for the super chat right now. I haven't gotten many of those this season. Super chats are turned on. $1. If you want to drop $1 or a dime, this is my last live of the season for the regular season, so throw them in there. But anyways, in the beginning, the Lakers screwed up after 2020 to me because they should have gone back with the same squad, similar squad, but instead they added a floor spacing 5 in Marc Gasol, which I thought Marc Gasol was pretty good last year, but definitely a downgrade from JaVale. And then you added another ball handler in Dennis Schroeder to take the ball out of LeBron's hands. And now here's my dilemma, or here's my problem. Why are we taking the ball out of LeBron's hands? He was the point guard in 2020. He averaged 10 assists a game. The Lakers won the championship. He didn't have to move and cut off the ball so much. He didn't have to play so much post up. I'm not saying he posts up a ton, but he posted up more this season. He played a little bit more off ball this season because he did have moments where he tried to accommodate Russ in the first half of the season, especially in the first half of games. But I thought it was better when he just got to play as a true point forward in 2020. But they took the ball out of his hands. And I don't understand why they did that. Did he want to get the ball taken out of his hands? Because we saw in 2019, the Lakers had Ingram and Lonzo, other guys that could, Kuzma came off a season where he was creating his own shot. So why are we taking the ball out of his hands? LeBron, AD, and, role players that can either screen and roll, catch and shoot, maybe 1 or 2 ball handlers. That's it. Keep it simple. But they overcomplicated things. That being said, last year's team was still really good because they defended. And that was the identity of the Frank Vogel Lakers. And that's where we get to the beginning of the end this season. Because Frank Vogel we've been shown this season, he is not a versatile coach. He's not a great coach. He's a good coach, and he's a good coach when given the defensive personnel that he needs to succeed. And this season, he was not given that. And here's why I think the Lakers fucked up. And if you want to put this on Pelinka, you can. In my opinion, it's foolish to put it all on Pelinka because we know for many years now, and only fanboys will deny this, that LeBron James is the face of the player empowerment era that has taken place in this 2010s. And he And he has huge control over a lot of the big major decisions. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, if everything was up to LeBron, wouldn't Ty Lue be the coach of the Lakers? Did I say everything was up to LeBron? I said he had a big say in huge moves in terms of, like a star player coming in, because he has to play with that player. Ty Lue wanted a full coaching staff of his own, and the Lakers didn't grant him that. And maybe the Lakers bought into the narrative that Ty Lue was LeBron's crony. But that being said, I can't stand Laker fans or LeBron fanboys bringing up Ty Lue, because they won a chip with Vogel. So let's not go back to before Vogel. Let's talk about what's happened after they won the chip, because they won the championship. That's the highest level you can reach. So let's not blame Vogel for 2020. You know what I'm saying? Let's not assume that, if they had Ty Lue, they automatically would have done this and that. I'm not saying that they wouldn't have won the chip with Ty, but let's give Vogel his flowers for that season, right? And now I'm hearing, it was all the assistant coaches, Jason Kidd and Lionel Hollins. Like, give me a break. We saw him coach in Indiana and do a good job with that team too. So let's not act like Frank Vogel just sucks now, okay? Anyways, I think the Lakers felt the pressure, and LeBron felt the pressure of the Brooklyn Nets big three. No one's going to say it, but I think a lot of people know it. And I think it is a terribly flawed mentality now that just because a team has 3 stars doesn't mean you need to beat them with 3 stars. We saw the 2010 Lakers beat a team of stars, of 4 all-star caliber players, with Kobe, Gasol, and a great group of role players that fit well around them. And we saw the Lakers win the 2020 championship with 2 fantastic players and a great group of role players that fit well around them. So why are we? Because they're aging is what I was assuming. They're aging, and they fear that LeBron and Anthony Davis couldn't stay healthy, so they wanted to bring in a 3rd star. And you know what? They were right. Anthony Davis and LeBron couldn't stay healthy. They were absolutely right. And now we get to the series of events that led to the Westbrook trade. The first option being Damian Lillard. And this goes back to the point I made in my Who's the GOAT episode, which did not age well in the beginning after 2020 when LeBron won his ring. But oh boy, has it aged well since then, because LeBron has shown a lot of tendencies as to now why organizations, I can see the LeBron experience growing tired. Because when I was a LeBron fan, I only saw it like this. He gives your team a chance to compete for a title every single year. But what I didn't realize is the pressure to win a title in such a short amount of time, because there is no guarantee that he is staying, makes it so that you panic and make these win now moves at the cost of potential development and continuity to satisfy his needs. And that can prove to be very hard when your roster is constantly changing all the time. And LeBron went for Dame first. Dame didn't want to do that. He didn't want to, join the super team. Okay. Next was DeRozan. But DeRozan had to be on a sign and trade because the Lakers would have been hard capped. Okay. So that means that they would have had only $10 million to fill out the rest of the roster. So let's say you get Caruso or bring back THT on $9 million. Then you only have $1 million to get the rest of the guys. So think of how much differently that squad would have looked like than this one. Probably even worse in the role player department. And that being said, to do that, you had to get sign and trade contracts have to be 3 years minimum. So DeRozan would have had to be here in his contract a year after 2023. Whose contract expires in 2023? LeBron. And you better believe that Laker management is thinking about life after LeBron, because they do not know what he's going to do next year. And that's the dilemma that comes with having him, because you don't want to trade LeBron James, but he leaves you in the dust with nothing after. He did it to Cleveland once, he did it to Miami, and then he did it to Cleveland again. And it took years for the Cavs to build this team through the draft. So now you're seeing what that can do to an organization. And another thing that people aren't realizing, what makes you think that Greg Popovich would have traded DeRozan to the Lakers? Since when has Greg Popovich given the Lakers a bone? DeRozan, of course he wanted to come. You don't think that DeRozan wants to come home and play with a chance to win a ring? But trades have to be agreed on both sides. And Greg Popovich was one of the main people that spoke out about Pau Gasol's trade being a fleece. So you think he's going to just hand his rival? And this is why I tell you, Laker fans, stop putting so much energy on the Clippers. We are still, despite the fact that we are the better run organization in LA right now, and we have been better than you for the large part of a decade, you still won a ring before we did. You've still never played us in the playoffs. It's a pseudo rivalry, as my man Lake Show says. The Spurs, that's a real historic rivalry. Popovich didn't want to give you DeRozan. He doesn't fuck with you. He thinks you're weak. No, I'm just kidding. But he doesn't fuck with you. Okay? Period. So that DeRozan shit, and by the way, I love Magic. You already know he's my favorite player, whatever. But he didn't know what he was talking about on First Take the other day with the cap. That his, you know what I'm saying? That they could have gotten DeRozan and then they went for Westbrook instead. No, it didn't work out with DeRozan. They traded for Westbrook, which leaves you to think, why? You know, we heard Pelinka and the management kind of wanted to go for Buddy Hield to get another shooter. But that's when we hear multiple reports that Anthony Davis and LeBron James met with Russ at LeBron's house in Brentwood on Tiger Tail and wanted Russ to come on board, which is everyone questioned this move from the start. Everyone. You see in my live, I said, okay, I think they'll still be a top 5 seed. That was me believing in the brilliance of stars and LeBron James being a top 10 player of all time. Notice I said top 10, not top 5, because this season, oh man, just because he averaged 30 points, no, he's the best 37-year-old ever. He is great for his age. That's as far that's not what we're rooting. That's not what we're going for here. That's not what Laker fans care about. They wanted to win. This season's a failure, and he failed miserably. And before we get into the on-court stuff, his move to get Russ was a terrible miscalculation. Terrible miscalculation. And then people want to say, oh, Rob Pelinka needs to tell him no. What if LeBron tells Rob Pelinka, yo, Rob, trust me, we'll figure it out. I always figure it out. That's what he said in the press conference. They said the same thing about the Heat. He's right to an extent. D Wade's 5 times the player Russ is, but he's right to an extent. There were some doubts about those two in the beginning. And they were 9 and 8 to start their first season. Similar to this Laker team, you might forget. They were 16 and 13 at one point, guys. But the problem is, too, they never really got a chance to play with one another in terms of a string of games. They never got to play. I challenged them. Can you play 5 straight games with the big 3 fully intact? And they couldn't do it. I don't think they even went 5 straight games. And I'm going to do a post. My man Lake Show, he's been really disappointed this season. We did the preview. He's going to come, and we're likely right before the playoffs going to do well, that was like, you know, how it all played out kind of thing. It'll be more serious than me right now, just kind of, you know, dancing on their grave. But when they did that, you know, you're taking in Russ's $40 million contract, $40 million. So that means the rest of the squad, vet minimums. Now, they could have kept Caruso if they had gone over the luxury tax. They went with THT instead. So that's, again, worrying about life after LeBron, and also bad move by the front office. That has nothing to do with LeBron. LeBron probably wanted Caruso back. He's not caring about the luxury tax. So that's on the front office. But the Westbrook move threw everything out of whack, because now you have to you have 3-and-D guys like Wayne Ellington and Trevor Ariza who aren't great defenders anymore. And in Ellington's case, never been a great defender and can't shoot threes consistently. Kent Bazemore, you can add to that list. Kent Bazemore, who Steph Curry got to the 8 seed last year as a consistent rotation player, didn't even get minutes at the end after the first couple of games this season. You know, you're signing DeAndre Jordan. Like, what were you thinking there? And then Vogel has the audacity to play him. Vogel, I mean, total mismanagement of this team. He didn't have his personnel, but you know, the small ball lineups they'd attempt with Stanley Johnson and LeBron at the 5, you know, it worked out well for LeBron to score a lot. It worked out well for their offense for a couple of months, but they could not, there's no resistance. So again, that narrative of LeBron can guard 1 through 5, how did that work out when they went 1 through 5? You feel me? How did that work out? Yeah, it works well against shit teams when he's mean mugging against Orlando and Houston. That's what he was doing this season, mean mugging and putting up amazing performances against those trash teams. That he had some great games, though, against like the Knicks on those Saturday night ABC games, Knicks, the Warrior 50-piece, the Wizards. Those are some great games. He had those nights. He had some amazing nights where he put on a show. And when he did, they won. But throughout the season, it was a joke. It was a joke. It was doomed before it started, but it really wasn't doomed before it started. Because what you need, though, when you have a roster with 3 players like that, 3 stars, and the rest are vet minimums, you have to perform every night, and you got to be healthy. And that's one thing we saw with the Miami Heat. And even in 2014, when D Wade missed his fair share of games, you still had LeBron, you know, and Bosh in their primes. So they could still compete on both ends of the floor much better than now. I mean, Bosh never didn't compete on the other end, but LeBron about a year or two later started doing the cruising in the regular season act. But back then, it was a different, and it was also a weak East. That's the thing. The East has gotten better, but it's even now, kind of. The East is good, and the West is not as good as it's been in recent years, but still not many easy games. And LeBron has found out the hard way now, missing the playoffs half of the seasons he's been here. One injury, and you miss 20 games, can be the difference. It's not like before where you can miss 15 games, 12 games. Kyrie can miss this many games and you still make it. It's not like that. This is the Western Conference. Every game's a battle for the most part, and you can't take these teams for granted on the defensive end. And that's what the Lakers did far too many times this season. And as I said, part of that is because they did not have defensive personnel. But one thing I always say, and this goes past the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season, they tried to work things out. Russ and LeBron were trying to figure it out together. Everybody was deferring to one another. But when Anthony Davis went down the first time, LeBron went down first, actually. And then they obviously got off to some L's. LeBron comes back. Then Anthony Davis goes down. They don't get a chance to build rhythm. And shout out to Russ, though, for one thing. He stayed on the court this season. But, geez, I mean, that's as far as it goes. He started out the season pretty decently, actually. He still had his Russ mistakes, his turnovers, his bad decision-making that were magnified even more so and amplified when LeBron missed games. But when LeBron came out, I think they still went they were 16-13 at one point. And then AD got hurt, and you saw the largest thing we saw this season, which was LeBron and Russ playing together. And it was just terrible because, it seemed like in the beginning of the season or the first half of the season, it was LeBron kind of let Russ handle the ball a good amount in the first half. And at times LeBron would still take the reins as well. And that showed me that Russ off the ball was so bad. I thought he was going to be able to cut and flash middle and just move without the ball and be a cutter with LeBron because he gets so much attention, but he was so stagnant. And he stands behind the 3-point line and he can't shoot threes, and he persisted on shooting threes. It's just such a negative. It's such a negative because LeBron needs shooters, and more so than ever now because he's not getting to the rim the same way he used to. And that's another reason why LeBron, to me, is definitely showing signs of decline, even despite the stats, because he shot more shots this season than he did since 2010, which is crazy. You would have never thought playing with AD and Russ and this team of, Melo, Malik Monk guys, some extra gunners to go along with your stars at this age, that he would be shooting more. And you can make an argument that maybe, besides because AD was out, LeBron shot more, but this was something that he started the season with. I remember saying go back to my recaps, I remember saying in the first 2 weeks, it seems like when LeBron goes into scoring mode, the Lakers don't win because it's two things. One, he holds the ball a lot and stagnates ball movement. It's not quick decisions off the catch, turn in the corner and go. 2 dribble pull up. It's turn and survey and see the floor. And then is he going to close the game? That's the thing. Oh, I have a stat. As I said, 24 games that LeBron played this season, 24 of them were within 5 points with 4 minutes or less remaining, within 5 with 4 minutes, 10-14, a below 500 record. That's where the star takes you home. That's where we saw LeBron in last season before he got injured, taking over games against Cleveland, against Memphis, against different teams. He just couldn't do it. He would go cold. His jumper would go cold. He'd lose his legs. You could see it. He couldn't get to the basket anymore. He wasn't hitting his jump shots later in the games. You could see it. And that's why I say also, you got to look at the stars first. And in those games that Anthony Davis wasn't playing, the Laker defense was already a little bit suspect. But the games, and Anthony Davis's resistance to play the 5 in the beginning of the season was terrible too. There's a lack of accountability with this team. There's a lack of desperation. There's a lack of, okay, we got our ass kicked. For example, they got embarrassed by the Suns a couple of weeks ago from the beginning of the game. And LeBron still got his 30, no stops, just trading baskets 30 after the last second, third, and fourth quarter. The next game, they're playing the Toronto Raptors, and they're down 20 in the first quarter. Great teams, even the Laker teams from 2021 and 20, when they got embarrassed one night, they would never come out and get embarrassed again. They would usually win the next game, let alone compete. And that is not what the Lakers did on multiple occasions this season. They quit at least 10 games this year, 2 against Phoenix alone. There was one against New Orleans that was absolutely pathetic. They quit in the game I went to recently with Clippers Lakers. You can see it. They gave up. They gave up in a lot of third quarters this season, guys. And here's the thing. Yeah, Malik Monk didn't play defense. He still had a pretty good season. Yeah, Melo doesn't play defense. He gave you what you thought you were going to get. Austin Reeves, a bonus. THT, tough season because Vogel, this goes back to Vogel, for a large portion of the season, in the first half of it, put him at the 3 alongside Russ and LeBron. And again, Russ and LeBron in the half court was a disaster. I liked their pick and rolls where LeBron was the screener. They did a lot more of that when LeBron became point center, and ended up, again, LeBron would score a lot. They would not get stops. And that was the issue all season to me, because we were saying, and this is the crazy part, you brought Russ onto a team of vets. The only guys that want to run are Monk and Reeves and occasionally LeBron when he can. And you bring Russ, who plays at a blistering pace to maximize his abilities, to this old team, a team that is better with LeBron and AD at the controls, slowing it down. So you bring LeBron. The way you maximize Russ is you play fast. How do you play fast and do it effectively? You get stops. People are going to say, oh, the Lakers were 6th in pace this year. I talked about this many times. That shit was fugazi. They were just taking quick shots, like Malik Monk, one pass, pump fake, sidestep, 3. That's it. One pass in a half-court set or semi-transition, miss. LeBron, come up and pull some possessions. Russ, just come up and go straight to the left wing and try to post up or shoot that left side bank shot that got him on Shaq and a fool more times than I could count this year. There was no sense of IQ, sense of flow, sense of ball movement. LeBron, he was getting his numbers, but his assists were down this year, partially because that's because of Russ. But in the second half of games, guys, teams would switch a lot on these guys and force LeBron into one-on-one situations. And because he wasn't driving past guys and kicking as much as he used to and shooting more threes than he had ever shot in his career, 8 of them a game to be exact. And mind you, guys, 8 3-point shots a game on 36% shooting. That's not bad, but that's not great to be shooting 8 shots a game. I get it. You want him to conserve. But here's my issue, right? People say, oh, LeBron and Russ, they can't play defense like that. They're too old. Well, then this team was never going to work because you don't have defensive personnel. When I saw this team, I was like, look, they don't have that many good defenders. LeBron and Russ are going to have to play defense. It can't just be relying on Anthony Davis to do everything. And that's why Stanley Johnson got a spot on this squad, because he actually defends. That's why Austin Reeves broke into the rotation so much, because he actually tried. Every time he stepped foot on the court, Austin Reeves actually gave a fuck. So Laker fans, you should be singing his praises, because I can't say the same for almost every single other player on the team. LeBron and Russ, I always say it starts on the top. There were so many games where Russ is not getting over screens. He's walking on defense. This was the guy that gave his everything almost every night, that played with intensity. How many times did he have those, I'm giving it, set leading by example moments, diving on the floor, going into the crowd? Less than 10. LeBron, same thing. He got the crowd hyped by scoring, but how many hustle plays? 5 or 6. It took him 50-something games to scream at somebody. And when he did it, it's because he was fumbling the ball on a rebound. It's whiny. It's not what Kobe did in 2013. There was visible anger on his face. And I get it. I should stop comparing LeBron and Bean. I get it. I should stop. Because the way I see the game, I can never say that he's better anymore. I can see your argument, but I can't entertain it. Because Kobe, this is the difference. He played in games like tonight and fucked up his Achilles in the process, but that's because he fucking cared. He didn't want to get embarrassed. This is a joke. They should be ashamed of themselves. Russell Westbrook, he's like, yeah, I played bad, but I'm not worried. Championship is championship. I still have a life at the end. Dude, I get it. Basketball's not everything. LeBron did the same act a couple weeks ago. I'm just enjoying the game. No, you guys fucking failed. You failed. You failed your fans, and you failed expectations. You are the biggest disgrace in the history of basketball relative to preseason expectations. You are the most disappointing Laker team in history. And I, as a Clipper fan, I'm only getting passionate right now. I love it, but I'm getting passionate because I love the game, and they disrespected the game this season with their bullshit. Top down. No defense when your 2 best players don't guard, you ain't winning shit. And LeBron and Russ, that applies to you. If you go back to my lives, every game LeBron played good defense, they competed in them. They were in those games. And if you're asking me, this is a lot to ask for a 37-year-old, by all means, you're right. So I'm going to taper my expectations down. And next year, when we go into the season, he's not going to be in my top 10 because I know he can't guard anymore unless he wants to pick and choose. But you know what? He still has the energy to stay in when they're down 20 to get his extra points, which he did many times this season. He's still in when they're up 20 to get his extra points for an extra minute or two. Like, you're not fooling anyone. He's still in to when they get other team, it's a defensive 3-second violation. He waltzes to the free throw line like he's Mark Price. Carmelo Anthony's out there, bro. He's always been a better free throw shooter than you. Who are you fooling? And then, so Russ is going to be gone. Vogel's going to be gone. It's okay. Just book your ticket to Cancun. It's done. LeBron still had a good season, though, mind you. I still think he had a good season. He could have still made the playoffs given a better supporting cast. But you know why we're not going to give him sympathy? Because he wanted Westbrook. He didn't want to calm down and just go for role players. So he deserves all the slander he's getting. This is what happens when you try too hard to try to manipulate what's going on within the team. Just leave it to Beaver, a.k.a. Pelinka, who we'll see if he has a job in about a month. That's it for me tonight, guys. Anthony Davis, we have to have serious questions about him going forward as well. And Russell Westbrook, as much as I love you, I don't think you're a top 15 point guard of all time anymore because you showed that you cannot adapt to being a third option. I don't care that you're not in your prime. You showed a lack of IQ, a lack of adaptability. You never improved on the things that I defended you for as a middle schooler in 2012. I love you, man. You're a local guy, but this season, you're going to get booed when you come back home. And guess what? It won't be any different than when you were a Laker. Good night, everybody. We're going to go to the live subscribers we know so patiently in the fucking chat. Laker fans, who's laughing now? That was my best impersonation of Kawhi's laugh. Peace. And I'll see y'all in the playoffs, Time Jumper fam. Yo. All right, you can chill. You can say something now. Let's see the comments, ladies and gents. This is one of the most packed lives we've had tonight. Let's see it. Oh, Ahmad is getting off. 1, 2, 3. Cancun. Yo, Le Cancun. Yep. This is by far the most disappointing team in NBA history. Even with the injuries, there was no excuse to not even make the play-in. Reggie Jackson carried his team to the play-in, while Bagless Braun couldn't even win 40 games and make the play-in. Bagless Braun. Bagless Braun averaged 30 points a game. Oh, man. Haven't seen Darian this ecstatic in a while.
With stat pad.
Yeah, man. ZZ Visions. People really tried putting THT in the same tier as Tyler Hero. LMAO. Talk your shit, Dorian. We deserve it. Yes, sir. Nathan Wong, utter embarrassment. My boy Spencer says terrible. Cry Me a River song. You don't have to say. I forget how it goes. Tell me you love me. All along. That's classic JT. Isn't JT a Laker fan?
Probably.
I think maybe a Grizzlies fan. Well, they still got the Kings. Hey, go Kings, go, baby. We ready for a playoff run, my boy. Don't think we're not talking about those. I'm going to see if I can. I don't know. My hockey expertise is not too high, but we'll see what we can do in the playoffs. Grabs popcorn. Darian, don't shave your beard. Let it grow. Thanks. He's screwed if he plays next game. It would validate if he's chasing accolades. Facts, Spencer. I didn't even mention that. I may have to do a YouTube short. If he goes, no, listen. If he goes to, if he plays to go get that scoring title, he's not better than Duncan to me. Like, I swear, I'm dead. I swear, no, because Duncan would never do some shit like that. Like, no. And guess what? Before you go with, what was Duncan doing at 37? Putting another ring on that finger, son. That's what he was doing. Better team, I get it, but shit. LeBron wasn't winning no championship his second season, was he? That guy, Spencer, doesn't validate anything. We already know Bron chasing that scoring title in Kareem. Jesus Christ, Raid. So, not even hiding it at this point. I'm here for it, my boy. Respectfully disagree, Dari, and I think it went to shit this last offseason. Last year, even with Schroeder and Gasol, the Lakers were contenders and the best defense in the league. I guess I did cover that a little bit after you commented that, I'd assume. Collins dang, Kobe's better than LeBron. Yeah, I can't really – I have to agree now. I'm 110% rated, but the Lakers talk to rest, with them finally being punted into obscurity for this season by missing the plan. I don't have to hear people making endless excuses and what-ifs. People repeating the same points over and over. Lakers suck, and we can finally all agree. Cameron Aselli, what's up? What's good, Darian? GG, the Lakers season feels good, man. Amada, Miami Heat fan, says Braun left Miami high and dry. We drafted Napier for his bitch ass. Remember the championship, Shabazz Napier. By the way, shout out to the Kansas Jayhawks for winning that championship. That was a great game. What's up, Kyle's Takes? My boy Kyle Dominic, 123 Cancun. Wow, honestly, this is all on LeBron. He's the one who forced Pelinka to go after Russ. No sane GM would ever trade for Russ when your key players LeBron and AD. Hey, I mean, you ain't lying, right? I think you're right about that. YouTube algorithms on your favor. Damn right. Hey, don't forget to comment, guys. Don't after the video. Don't forget to comment. I want Laker fans to come in, flooding my mentions, crying about you're a Clipper fan. How many rings do you have? Let's get back to that. Because now I laugh. Because like, bro, if that's all you're gonna get in the LeBron era is the bubble ring, by all means, that video got me you guys. Because of that video, it got me you guys. And now I got to see my team break the curse, and I'm enjoying all this basketball now. And guess what? We're going to talk about the Lakers when they were the Lakers in Time Jumper Time Machine this summer. So it's all good. Everybody wins here, except for the 2020, 21, 22 Lakers and LeBron and Russ fanboys, or fanboys in general. Because eventually your man is going to screw up. And we're going to be here for it. YouTube algorithms on your favorite. Would you rather see the Nuggets or the T-Wolves in the first play-in? Regardless, a must-win, in my opinion. Need the third installment of Clippers Memphis. Yeah, oh man, bring the teddy bears on. Definitely the Wolves, man. I don't want to see Jokic, dude. I don't want to go against anybody that's in the conversation for best player in the NBA. I don't want to see it. And by the way, speaking of which, I was really convinced, guys, we had the Lakers this year in the playoffs. I thought the streak was ending. I thought we were going to get them. But they did, they made sure that didn't happen. Russ went from questionable to awful to terrible to unbearable. Nice rhyme there. This Lakers team makes the 06, 07, and 13 Lakers like title contenders. Dude, facts. Russell Westbrook's not a top 75 player. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a debatable one. But for what I prioritize, like Chauncey or Russ?
Oh, Chauncey.
Tony. Dennis Johnson.
I haven't watched enough DJ, but
Okay.
Finals MVP. So
And he could be a fourth option. He was able to adapt, move off the ball, and play defense. Dennis Johnson's definitely better than Russ. I'm sorry. Now we have see Russ, man. We got to talk about we got to lower the bar for him. Like we talking Hal Greer, Rondo, Kyle Lowry type of. Okay, Kyle Lowry may be harsh.
Kyle Lowry's harsh.
It is harsh.
Rondo's.
But Kyle Lowry does have a championship as a third option. Is Russ able to do that? Like legit, is Russ able to do that? We have to really question these things now. I'm serious.
But I'm sorry, but the triple double shit definitely puts him above Kyle Lowry.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think puts him above Rondo. Rondo's a closer argument, but
I don't know the prime Rondo though.
Yeah, but prime Rondo is also
Prime
a
Rondo?
stat stuffer. You have to remember.
He is a little bit of a stat stuffer.
He
did chase assists. I don't know about as much rebounds to me, but because back in that area it was hard to chase rebounds in the past.
He was chasing assists.
Assists for sure. Glenn of the Lakers would be gold. I doubt they wouldn't be that stupid. The fact that Russ needs to be the number one option as the ball handler on a team to be fully on, as Russ fans put it, is the key to losing games and first round exits. That's exactly what he's done. That's the thing. There was no happy medium. That was found with Russ and LeBron's ball handling. I might have been the only person who thought this experiment wasn't going to work. Oh, no. There were many people that didn't think it was going to work. I never guaranteed it would work, but since I had them the second seed, I guess you could say I did. I just thought they'd figure it out and be good. I thought they'd win 52 games, but I expected too much of LeBron, I guess. Thoughts on the rep? Yeah, I'm not even going to entertain that. The Vegas odds were whack. This team would have never worked from the start. Yeah. Bullshit. If LeBron James and Russ and AD don't believe that, then I don't think I should take that for granted. If players are all-time greats are confident in the team, there's no reason you should think that it would never have worked from the start. I think LeBron did a great job offensively this season, but the lack of effort at times throughout the season was just unacceptable. Yeah, and the amount of games he quit. Yeah, he stayed on the court. That's why we just missed the play-in. That's why hitting the head, just because Russ stayed on the court is why you missed the play-in. Remember, you guys lost without Russ to the Blazers, with AD and Bron. You have to run Russ at the dunker spot if he doesn't have the ball. Yeah, but see, here's my question, right? Everyone might put that on Vogel, and he had moments sometimes in the dunker spot. Every time that he was in there, I talked about how great of a thing that was on the lives. But, you shouldn't have to be told this anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? You should be smart enough to know what you need to do. These are NBA players. My friend Blake and I were watching a game the other night. We're watching the college championship. And he was saying, Caleb Love needs to just break the offense and go tween. They're running sets. You can clearly see it in the college game. In the NBA, you can see they're free flowing it out there. So that's why I hate when people get so overly critical on coaches. Run plays for him to do this. No, man, you're a star. You take things by the scruff of the neck and do them. Thing is crazy. Russell Westbrook has a beautiful wife, beautiful child. That makes a ton of money, but that don't mean jack shit once you lose confidence. Kind of really goes to show there's more to life. Y'all are fools, man, than just money. Raid, if they do that, you can schedule your appointment for a downfall of the Lakers videos all around YouTube. You speaking all facts right now. Hey, thanks, young PSV. Darian, where do you think the Lakers go from here? Do you think LeBron and AD bounce back from this pathetic excuse for a season? Honestly, I have no expectations for these fools anymore. I'm just going to enjoy the teams that are the future of our league. Luka Doncic and the Mavs. Giannis. Giannis maybe starting his own LeBron, taking over as the guy. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Enjoy them while they last, guys. The prime is ending. Plumber Jim Harden. Yeah. Let's wait for his downfall. Joel Embiid and Jokic. We've waited a long time for centers to come back and dominate this game. And we've got two amazingly skilled ones right now. Better than Dwight to me. Embiid and Jokic.
A lot better than Dwight.
Yeah. Dwight was a beast on defense, though.
He's a beast.
And a rebound.
But
yeah. I mean, Embiid's never made it out of the second round. I think Embiid's better, but he's never made it out of the second round because he's conditioning. He either gets hurt or he's runs out of gas. But this year, he has no excuse but Plummer and Doc. Glenn. Oh, my goodness. Plummer and Glenn. Corey Marshall, as a Lakers fan, if this guy plays for the scoring title, he will never have my respect. Facts. You really did give a great obituary like I wished. Facts, but it's going to be a classic to look back on. I don't know what they could have done differently, but what they did this border to basketball was so shameful. I don't know, man. LeBron James brought us a title, so he's always have my respect, and I'll always be a fan of his. Fair. Tom, I've never heard you laugh that hard for real. Thanks, Kyle. I'm a Celtics fan, and even I get frustrated with this Lakers team. It's okay. I'm also ecstatic. Suns do not want to see Clippers in the first round. Hey, I appreciate that it's coming from a Laker fan, but I mean, you could be right. I think they'd much rather see Minnesota.
Much rather see Minnesota if I was the Suns.
Best live in the season? Maybe. I had to come back for this. I think the entire NBA fan base outside the Lakers is dancing. Facts. This is why LeBron will never be better than me, Kevin Durant says. KD, man, I'm sorry, but LeBron's got some chips that weren't just walk on the court and go one-on-one and win.
Cubic zirconia.
Yeah, no, I guess it's a double standard to some extent, but I don't know, man. That team wasn't gonna lose. That Warriors team.
It was pussy shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You go to the team that embarrassed you.
Yeah. Suns cannot make these early mistakes shown in the first half, or the Clippers will make them pay. Oh, okay, we're getting too far into playoff stuff here. Couldn't even crack 10 in the West. They freaking couldn't crack 10th. Yeah, I know. I can't believe the Spurs finished. That's just a joke. The Spurs and the Clippers, no matter what injuries you have, LeBron played over 50 games and Russ played over 60. Hey, what's up? Who your friend? I love that he's in the party. Dude, this is Lucas. He was on the season preview 2020, 2021. He was doing the bottom feeders for this season.
Yeah.
And then he was on episode number 5, the original 5th episode, New York State of Mind. I don't care if I jinx the Warriors. It's the best day of the season. Dan, the Laker fan, said we the Clippers are a poverty organization. But this shows you how horrible ownership the Lakers have. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say horrible. I just think they're not doing a great job right now. I don't think you could ever put Duncan over Bron. Bron's peak and prime are both higher and longer, and he did with multiple rosters. I don't think that the multiple rosters thing is super impressive. I think he's always had good rosters. Is there a roster that you think Duncan wouldn't have fit in with? You feel me? And here's the thing. I'll give Bron's peak was longer, but did you 98 and 2000, 2003, bro, he's beating Kobe and Shaq. That's not super clear cut. LeBron won, his peak was what? They won game 7 against an old Celtics team and a game 7 on one offensive rebound that Chris Bosh didn't get, they would have lost. Tim Duncan beat the Lakers, and won 3 chips in his first 8 seasons in an organization that had 0. So I'm just saying, it's an argument. I used to think the same thing you just said, but I'm also 23, bro. I didn't see Duncan that young. I gotta give him that chance. Same with Kobe. I used to say Duncan over Kobe. What? But I gotta give him a chance now because what he did early in his career, I caught later Duncan, and Duncan was nasty, but he wasn't taking over games like LeBron and Kobe. But I have to see early because if he's beating Shaq and Kobe, I mean, come on. Is he guarding Diesel? If he's guarding Diesel, I mean, come on, guys. Trade everybody and get draft picks and tank is a good option now. I'm sorry for the playoffs now, especially we have no more quitters. Who dat? My boy Luke. Xavier Moon owns the Lakers. Lowry much better than Russ. Wow. It's hard. That's a hard one, guys.
Lowry's better at fitting in a role. Russ needs to be that guy, and Kyle's more adaptable. Who's a better player? I'm taking it's
Okay.
who's better all time. You got to take Russ.
I feel you.
Just because
The triple-double, yeah.
Doubles and the records and all that shit. It matters in that sense. But I mean, Russ isn't a championship player.
That's crazy to hear, but it's true, kind of. I mean, Russ is he like we have to talk about is even better than Tiny Archibald type of thing. Hal Greer. These are the type of people we need to talk about, not the guys that not Chris Pauls of the world.
Not on that level.
Dr. Bus bullied teams for trades. Now owners don't let the Lakers beat them in trades. Lakers are running like a blockbuster while the Clippers are running like a Silicon Valley billionaire company. Never put LeBum in the same discussion as me ever again, says Jordan. Nice. Off topic, do you get that Larry Bird won his first ring without a super team? Obviously, dude. Come on. They were like 20 wins. And McHale was a rookie when they won that championship.
Yeah, it's not a super team.
And hey, Kobe.
Oh, shit. Let's get Kobe.
We will be fine. Glenn to the Lakers. Lowry is greater than Russ. I'm a Raptors fan, but if you want to win, it's obvious. Oh, no. Russ is better than Lowry, he's saying. Wait, no. It says
Lowry's better than Russ. Yeah.
I'm a Raptors fan, but if you want to win, it's obvious who you're choosing. Fair. Got to boycott the franchise to death until Cheapy finally sells the team. Shit hurts, bro. Hurt. Darian, who's your MVP and who do you think comes out of both conferences? Embiid, and I'm going with a rematch. Bucks and Suns. I'm a diehard, bro. I'm sorry, man. Miss you, Kobe. I love you. We miss you, Kobe. We miss Bean, man. These guys don't wear that jersey like Kobe. That's facts. Even Derek Fisher, guys. Like, the Lakers miss someone like that. D. Fish. And I'll tell you this, guys, right now. Even in Ron Artest's worst games, he would show more heart than this Laker team did. Like, deadass. Even in his worst days, he would. He would commit a dirty foul. Like, that's the thing. Sometimes you got to fucking fuck someone up. Like, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Like, get ejected. Make a statement. They don't do statements no more. But I don't care what anyone says. I'm taking Giannis for KD if he wins again. I feel you. I'm with you on that.
Easy.
There's no more Kobe hearts in that locker room. Dime, this might be the start of a great algorithm starting today. Playoffs in the next season. That's facts. You're right. Dime, you're crazy. LeBron is barely a top 70. I ain't going that far.
LeBron slander is hilarious.
It is. Every NBA fan base celebrating right now. Every Laker LeBron fan dead silent. Darian, where do you rank LeBron and AD among all the other players in the NBA right now? Not top 10. Not top 10.
Really, not top 10? LeBron's not top 10 in the league?
Not for me anymore. I'm going to say who I think is better. Obviously, you got Jokic, KD, Steph, Giannis, and Embiid. Okay. And then you also have Devin Booker.
You can take Book over Bron.
100%. He defends every night. And he works so quick off the catch. And he outplayed him in the last playoffs, too. I'm going to go with Luka. Okay, for sure. Not Harden. No, not Harden. The way Jason Tatum has played second half of the season, I have to go with Tatum. Okay. Have to. Actually, you know what? Maybe LeBron is still in like ninth. Because I wouldn't say like anybody on the Heat is better. I wouldn't say like Siakam is better or Jaylen Brown. I would say LeBron's like ninth.
Yeah.
But
hey, Disney's not top 10.
No way. Have you seen Winning Time? Absolutely. It's not a documentary, by the way. It couldn't be further from a documentary. Chris Sports Corner made a point that no one on this team bleeds Laker purple and gold. I feel you. Duncan has 2 finals MVPs. Bron got 4. Okay, listen. Let's contextualize for a minute. If we're just going, Duncan's been the best player on four, arguably 5 championship teams. He was the best player. First of all, you're lying. Duncan has 3 finals MVPs, 98, 2003, and 2005. And he was the best player in 07. I know Parker won, but he wasn't the best player. And you can make an argument that Duncan was the best player with Kawhi's ring. I think Tony, but you can make an argument because of his defense. So I'm not buying all the impact metrics. Okay, fine. I don't give a shit about those. So, like, that's not doing anything for me, bro. You can't just compare stats. Bron's 3-year, 12 to 14. It was a top 3 peak with Jordan and Shaq. I don't think so, man. I think Kobe in 08, 9, and 10 is better than that Bron. I think it's debatable, but you're overrated. It's better than, what about Bird's peak? 89 and 91 years that Jordan didn't even win a championship? I think I'm big on championships, bro. You got to win. Like, if you put up slightly lesser stats, but you won the championship, that's better to me. If we want to evaluate the performance and you want to talk basketball reasons, then we can do that. But the stats and the impact metrics,
I mean, Bron's 12 to 14 peak was fucking sensational.
It was.
That was.
It was. But I don't think it's like as high as everybody thinks, because I think that people still sagged off on him a lot. I think that he didn't win the titles command. Like it was close, bro. It was very close. And I think that 2014, he got embarrassed. He and the rest of his team got embarrassed.
I mean,
He didn't have a bag like, I mean, he had a bag, but he's like, he started having those hitches. He got so big then in Miami. He started having those hitches in his game. You know what I mean? His jump shot, his jumper was better, but it's not smooth.
The thing is, Bron got embarrassed twice in the finals. And I don't know anyone else in that, like, who's the GOAT category that got embarrassed twice in the NBA finals. Who else?
I can't think of one.
Bean didn't. Jordan didn't. Duncan didn't. Bill didn't. Magic didn't. Like, nobody has a 2011 on the record. Nobody has this.
I will say that 2014 wasn't a LeBron embarrassment, more so a team embarrassment.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, he's part of the team. I know.
part of the team.
Defensive. Yeah. Oh.
The team clearly feeds off his energy.
Ooh. But I don't think LeBron's better than Paul George anymore. I really don't. Because Paul defends, bro. I'm not going with LeBron over Paul. He's so good.
Well,
He's
how many games did Paul play this year?
like 40, but he played better in the games that he played. I'm going. Is LeBron better than Ja? And he's better than Trae Young. These are good questions to be asked. I don't think he's not better than Trae Young.
I'm not taking Trae over Bron.
Okay.
I'm not taking
Paul
Bron
though.
over Bron either.
No, but if we're gonna go with Tatum, I'm gonna have to go with Paul. Paul is better than LeBron to me now. I'm dead ass with that. I'm
Bron's 10.
Okay. We'll go with 10. I'm putting Paul ahead of him now.
I mean, I put Paul ahead of Tatum.
Okay. Timmy has 3 finals MVPs. That's what I'm saying. Glorified summer league choke, but after you got these 2 great years for the Clippers, it's all your fault, Dime. Sheesh. I want to get the cancer out of the Lakers, start another league, and leave this Mickey Mouse toxic cesspool of a league. Wish all the worst in life for all haters. People don't value the good they have. It's so funny how 0-6 in the preseason led to this. Who would have thought? Who he wants to be. You rather have PG over Bron in playoffs? You gotta get to the playoffs, bro. That's the thing. You gotta get to the playoffs, and I'm taking Paul to try to lead me there. I am. Come on, Dime, stop. Sorry. Hey, where's LeBron though? He's in Cancun, right? He's getting ready to go. Or I'm sorry.
He's suiting up.
He's not better than Paul.
He's chasing that scoring
Guys,
goal.
Paul defends. You feel me?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about everyone saying like no one feels like anyone on this team carries like the Lakers purple and gold. Is that shit in the bubble was so fucking phony? Like that,
hey, but they were repping hard though for Kobe that year.
They were repping hard for Kobe, but that shit was so fucking phony, and you could tell. Like, I'm sorry, but like that's not how Bron. You know that's not how Bron functions. Like that whole shit was like we're not finished. Like
it was a force. It was a force. I know.
It was so forced.
It was, but they were so much better than everybody else because the Clippers choked that it was like they had the ring.
And the thing is that like,
well, wait.
To carry on Kobe's legacy. To carry on Kobe's legacy in that one fucking season and then just shit on it again, like that's so fucking phony to me. Like if you actually cared about Kobe's legacy, you would not be out of the fucking playoffs with the play-in. You think Kobe would be out of the fucking playoffs in the play-in with this team? Unless you're talking post-Achilles Kobe, hell no. Not even post-Achilles Kobe.
Kobe's post-Achilles was not the same. I think this LeBron was way better than post-Achilles. Kobe's was cooked, dude.
Kobe's willing his team in the playoffs, and he's not fucking standing back on defense, walking back. He's not taking plays off. He's sweating and
but you got to get
himself to be on that court.
But you got to get there.
You got to get there.
But Kobe in the post Achilles was not leading anyone to shit. He was cooked. He had no elevation on his jump shot.
But he was still trying.
He was chucking, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Post Achilles Kobe, like I don't even like that was not. He was just chucking. He was gonna try to pass Jordan at that point because it was a rebuilding effort. He was kind of holding the team back, but he didn't care about winning rings anymore like that. Like, you know what I mean? He felt like he didn't have anything to chase. He was cooked. He knew he couldn't lead teams anywhere anymore. The thing is, LeBron still kind of has the abilities.
Yeah.
But I guess we just have to be more logical with the expectation. Wait. For time, I want to address this comment. Paul hasn't won anything. We're not talking about all time. We're talking about this season and last. Paul had a better year than Bron, bro. After the injury, like Paul had a better postseason than Bron, and and in this season, you can say LeBron had a better season. But would you really, if you want to rather have Bron, fine. You see where that takes your team. I'll see where it takes my team. So we can leave it at that. Paul defends, bro.
You guys had a first round exit.
They had a nothing exit.
You had a first round exit last year, and Paul, Kawhi. I mean, Paul played a sensational playoffs last
You
year.
getting in the play-in, bro. You're getting Paul and Russell Westbrook worked out great. You know why? Because Paul can move without the ball, and he's good at it, and he's comfortable doing it, and he works quickly off the catch, and he shoots threes at like 40%. Like with Russ, his 3-point percentage goes up. You feel me? We've seen Russ with, imagine Paul George and Anthony Davis. Oh, Lord, even for 20 games. Yeah, low-key, you guys are making the play-in with Paul. You're crazy. And look how much better your defense would be with Paul. No. I think Paul would do better than LeBron did this year. LeBron is going to have a hell of a time in Cancun. Trust me. I was there a week ago. Couldn't keep the ladies off me at Mandala. Yo, I've been to Mandala. Dude, that shit's lit. I went to Mandala for spring breaks my junior year. Yeah, for sure. Used to love this league, even teams like the Clips, but now the rest of this league is to die, and just the Lakers torture these bums. Screw everybody. I love it. Only the Clippers could have made them sweat. Laker Nation, I apologize, and I promise we'll be better. Oh, yeah. Hey, yo, where's the personnel tweet? Ahmad, come on. We're going to end it with that one tonight. Where's the personnel tweet? LeBron is like a politician. I don't get why y'all take him serious. Laker Nation will survive this terrible season. I mean, you have 17 good reasons to.
Mm-hmm.
Edgar O, before Achilles injury, the Lakers were still a terrible team. A terrible team with Kobe fucking Bryant averaging 27 points and closing games on it. I'll tell you that. And low-key, Dwight was still like all-star caliber. He was not terrible. He was disappointing, but he was still all-star caliber. Sometimes it's not even the scoring ability and performance. It's a mentality thing. We believe Kobe can will his team to the playoffs because of his mentality. Yeah, because we saw him do it. Dime, stop it. I ain't going to stop nothing. Ernesto George, as long as Genie Buzz is at the head of the Lakers, we'll keep going downhill, just being real. Kawhi, PG, and Russ trio would have won a ring? Nah, bro. Russ is clotting it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Russ, no. Get Russ out of there. LeBron had a better year than PG, okay, because PG missed games, but it shouldn't matter because Paul in the playoffs, and maybe Paul might have had a better year if he didn't get injured. Yo, I'm serious, too. If we didn't have Paul, I don't know if we would have gotten the record good enough to make the play-in. I really don't know if we would have. I think that even though our team kept up a pretty 500 record, it's different when you don't have Paul for an extra 30 games. That's more wear and tear on Reggie and Senior. Like, there's games that Senior and Batum didn't play in the beginning of the season that we won because of Paul.
Here's the thing about Paul, like especially watching him last year in the playoffs.
Yes.
Is the way he responded to the playoff P comments, the way Braun responds to his criticism is he has one really good game, and then he has one really good nationally televised game.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to being fucking lazy and walking back on defense and taking plays off and all this stuff. Paul George is the energy of the team on both ends. If he's not playing well, he's still trying.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Top Rivers. You're taking this year's LeBron that you saw not play defense, quit in a lot of games, and put up 30 points a game, cool, and a lot of losses, mind you, majority losses, over prime Paul George, because this is what he is right now. This is Paul in his prime to me. I don't think he's ever been, like, because he got that monkey off his back last year. So if you're taking this LeBron over prime Paul George, you either really don't think Paul George is that good or you're really, really high on LeBron. Because I would not take this LeBron over Paul healthy. And yeah. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.
Peace.